Hello there. Happy Saturday night on this St. Patrick's Day weekend 2023. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend. I am so far. Got an opportunity to get some rest, run around, take care of some errands, and pretty much adjusted to the time change. I know we just turned the clock an hour ahead this past Sunday, and I spent the better part of this week just getting my body clock adjusted to that 1 hour. It's amazing how much of a difference an hour can make. And it threw me for a loop for most of the week, but I think I'm just about there. And now I'm ready for spring. But right now, we're going to talk about The Last of Us Season 1 on HBO Max. Of course, this is the series based off of the acclaimed video game series from PlayStation and Neil Druckmann and the crew over at Naughty Dog Games. It's been adapted to this TV series. They did a 9-episode season 1 that just wrapped on HBO Max last Sunday night. And I did have the opportunity to appear on Eddie and Hailey's channel over at Fans of Something. And I'm going to bring them on in just a moment here. Had a nice talk. I was only able to be on there for 30 minutes, so I really appreciate their understanding of that. But had a chance to appear on their live stream. Have a link to their stream in the description, as well as a link to their channel and their Instagram in the description of this live stream. And we're going to just take a few moments tonight, just sharing thoughts on season 1 of The Last of Us. What do we think about this series? And want to hear from you all, in the comments section, what y'all think. So I know there are some folks out there, and we want to just hear what you think about this series, the characters, the story, whether you played the game or didn't play the game. What do you think about The Last of Us? So without any further ado, let's bring our guests on the stream. It is our first, these are my first guests on the channel for 2023. Eddie and Hailey of Fans of Something. Boom.
Oh, there we go. Boom.
Well, that was the silent boom. And now they are on audio. How are y'all doing tonight? I know y'all just got off work and everything.
James, we're excited. We're excited to talk some Last of Us.
Oh, yes. And I am excited to have you tonight. I mean, this has been quite the series. And I tell you what, I have so much that I'm still processing in my mind, thinking about this show, and so many thoughts, that I want to hear about what y'all think about it and what folks out there think about it as well. So let's see if we have any comments. We don't have a lot of comments at this point. I'll just share Respect the Face is out there.
Howdy.
And Adrian James. Adrian, always glad to have you. Hello. There to you as well. That's me greeting, folks and everything, and saying hello to Respect the Face and Adrian. And then we have Tony from Movies and More saying hello. She's just stopping by to say hi, can't stay, still have not finished the series. All right, definitely can understand that. So there will be some, I would imagine, in the discussion and in the comments. You make a good point, Tony, because I try to stay away from spoilers, but there's a possibility that some things may be spoiled. The season has wrapped, so there may be some things that we'll say that that you might not want to hear right now if you haven't seen it. So, but thanks for popping on. Horror and More, hello there. Yay, I can join now. Just finished the series. Yes, awesome, and look forward to hearing what you think about The Last of Us as well. Thank you for joining. And Jordo is here as well. Hey to you as well, Jordo.
Yeah, so, Nadia had told me that she had only seen like episode 1, and this is like right as the series was wrapping up. And I messaged, I was like, you have to just power through this. You have to do it. It's such a good series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I come from the perspective of someone who, of course, has played both of the games here, both of the PlayStation games. This is the original game, but actually this is the remastered game on PS4. I don't think I have the original PlayStation 3 game that came out in 2013, but it was remastered for 2014 for the PS4. And this is The Last of Us Part 2. So we'll talk a little bit about this one in season 2, when that'll be coming out, which will be really exciting. But I come from the perspective of someone who's played the games. And so now I'm looking at this series, but I really like to hear from people who have never played the games, have barely heard of PlayStation. Maybe they've watched the show and don't even know it was based on a video game, and probably shocked to even hear, oh, that's based on a video game. Really? You know? So it's just so interesting to hear people's perspectives, because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, what I played. Of course, it's been a while. It's been like 8 or 9 years since I played the original game, so I've forgotten some of it. But this series just kind of brings it all back to life. So really enjoy that. Let's see, Adrian saying hi to Nadia. Okay, Nadia saying hello. How are you doing, Nadia? Sorry, Adrian. Oh, Adrian, LOL. Yeah, I'm glad I saw the rest of the series. It definitely picked up on episode 2. Yep. All right. So
now, do you know if this is on PS5 yet, or is it still only on the 4?
Well, it got a second remaster,
that's
right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do know that these games, like PS4 games, play on the PlayStation 5. So you could pop these in and play them, but I don't know if they did a PS5 version of it yet. But I did read something on GameSpot that there's another DLC, or downloadable content story, in the Last of Us world coming. So,
okay.
I might have to get into that. So we shall see. But
I will say, I noticed
these games are so much fun.
There's like a 3-second delay between us. I've noticed there's like a 3-second delay.
Oh, really? Oh,
yep.
No. Are y'all able to see me wave here now? Or
yeah, like we can see you and everything, but it just like we'll talk and then it'll take like 3 seconds to get to you.
Uh-oh. Well, Savannah to Atlanta is about 250 miles. Is that the 3-second lag from Savannah up to northwest Atlanta?
I guess.
Whole other side of the world over there.
Well, let's jump into some stuff here. Of course, I'll give a little recap of a couple of things. Of course, we're talking about The Last of Us. It is the series on HBO Max that just wrapped season 1. Season 2 has been confirmed. IGN put out a story, like I think on January 27th, saying, hey, season 2 is already green lit and they're ready to go. And we'll talk a little bit about season 2 toward the end. And this is based off of the acclaimed video game series. And of course, here we have Naughty Dog Studios and PlayStation. For those of you who have just watched the series but never played the games, this TV series is based off of a video game that PlayStation developed through Naughty Dog Studios. Neil Druckmann here, this gentleman is the creative lead over at Naughty Dog, and he's responsible for a lot of the story direction and the narrative. He's sort of the narrative force behind the video game and also the TV adaptation. And he's also behind another game that they do over at Naughty Dog that has been adapted to a movie starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, Uncharted, which I have not seen. Have y'all seen Uncharted yet?
No, just because, I don't think we've played it.
No.
And then it just looked like it looked like every other video game adaptation, which just wasn't, up our alley. But
yeah.
I haven't really even heard any sort of like polarized opinions.
Yeah, it seems like it's like kind of negative, right? It's kind of negative.
That's what I've kind of heard. I haven't been, now I've played the Uncharted games and they're phenomenal, but I haven't been in a hurry to see that movie because I don't get the sense that I don't think it's Last of Us like good. No. I get the sense that it's something I can skip for the most part. And so far I have skipped it.
Was Neil heavily involved in that the way he is with The Last of Us, or?
I doubt it. I'm not sure, but I would tend to doubt it. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so you got Neil Druckmann here and PlayStation, and then of course we know that in this TV series we have Pedro Pascal playing Joel, and we have Bella Ramsey playing Ellie. But in the game, the voice actors were Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson that you see here. they were the voice actors from the PlayStation games. You can see them in these little black suits with these white dots on them. And basically that's how the game, when they're doing a game, they have to do this like motion capture thing. So they have them like act out certain scenes and do emotions and everything. And the cameras are set up to kind of record all those actions and all that activity and translate that motion into computer code. And that's part of how they make the game. So it's kind of crazy, kind of wild stuff. So what do y'all think of this series overall? We're going to talk about, the first few episodes, and I think y'all froze for a second. Are y'all there?
We're here.
Oh, you're there.
Yep.
We have some freezing going on.
Everything.
So
looks
we'll
good
start
on
off
our
with
end.
just talking about, the first. Okay. So we'll start off and just sort of break up this season in like 3 parts. So the first 3 episodes, the middle third, the 4, 5, and 6, and then the last 3 episodes of the series. So I will go to another view here where we'll just sort of pull up these first 3 episodes. So these are the first 3 episodes of the season. Of course, you had When You're Lost in the Darkness, that aired on January the 15th, Infected, and Long Time. Now, when I first heard about this series coming out, that they were doing a Last of Us TV series, my first thought was, I really don't want them to do that. I was like, really? Do they need to do that? I'm so glad now that they did, based on how well this turned out, but I was not optimistic at first. And so eventually I heard, okay, it's going to be coming on the 15th of January. And I thought, oh, okay, I guess I might watch it. And as soon as I started watching the first episode, I was pulled in. So you have this first episode, When You're Lost in the Darkness. It starts 20 years after the fungal outbreak. Episode 2 is the clash over Ellie's fate, and then Long Time, that epic episode. What are y'all's thoughts on these first 3 episodes, sort of the opening, 3 episodes of The Last of Us? And I mean, how did y'all feel, watching these episodes? And I guess before I ask that, how do y'all come at this game? Y'all not game, but at this series, have y'all played the games, or what is your background in terms of Last of Us? Is the TV series your first exposure to this story, or did you play the games? Kind of, where do you kind of enter the Last of Us story?
Yes, so we have both played only the first game. We've seen, a good portion of the introduction of the second game, but the first game for sure. And I'd say for both of us, it's been quite a while since we've done a full playthrough of the first
for
game.
sure. It's been a couple years.
Yeah. So I also went into this very pessimistic because whenever I see like this something is being turned into this new thing, I'm always like, really? Like, have we really run out of ideas? Like, could they pick something else? And plus, like, I really we both really thoroughly enjoyed the game, the first game at least.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody didn't enjoy the game.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I actually haven't met anybody that is very negative toward the game.
Like I've never come across someone that's like, I played The Last of Us. It's all right. It's like, it just seems to be.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
It's across the board. It's always been called one of the best video games. So it had big shoes to fill.
Right. So I know, like, you were like the driving force behind, like, yeah, we'll watch it, like, just because you're familiar with the franchise, like it, like the familiarity toward it. So, like, had you not wanted to watch it, I wouldn't have wanted to watch it, because I remember at first I was like, really? Come on.
Well, we're big Walking Dead fans, so we're kind of looking for that next Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because now that original show has ended, we're we're looking for that next apocalyptic show. Like we need at least one apocalyptic show in our life. So
Yeah, pretty much.
Quick question on that, since you mentioned that, because I've been collecting the Walking Dead seasons. Like whenever there's Black Friday over the last several years, I've seen like Walking Dead seasons at a really good discount, and so I pick up those Blu-ray like entire season 5, season 6, and what have you. So I've been collecting them with the intent that I'm gonna do a massive like binge watch and watch all of the seasons. When did it stop? Is it season 10 or what's the last season for
season
Walking Dead?
11? But
For me, it stopped at 8.
It's unfortunately being bogged down by spinoff after spinoff after spinoff. I think there's 5 spinoffs in the Walking Dead universe.
Is that including the ones that
Oh,
haven't
okay.
come out yet?
I know
Yeah.
Fear the Walking Dead is one of them. So
you got Fear the Walking Dead, you have The Walking Dead World Beyond, and then you have a Rick and Michonne spinoff, a Daryl spinoff, and a Maggie and Negan spinoff.
that sounds like a bit much there, doesn't it?
Yep. So
oh man,
we're only interested in the original show. So it's 1 through 11, and then we're gonna call it quits. So
yeah, that's probably the way I'm gonna roll with it. But yeah, I've been collecting the season, so I have a massive binge watch project in the next few years here. So
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, so far I've avoided a lot of the spoilers, so it'll be like just new to me. So,
but no, to The Last of Us, it's and I just applaud your homework here because you're doing a much better job than we did on our stream. We just had like little stupid reviews pop up. Yeah, no, I found that first episode when you're lost in the dark. That's my least favorite of the season. Just because, and I feel like we talked a little bit about it on our stream, but for me, it's too much copycat. It's too beat by beat by beat to that original game. It's really once you get into episode 2 that it kind of takes off and starts forming its own identity as a series. So,
yeah, that's really what won me over too. I mean, like, I really don't know what I would have wanted, like thinking back, retroactively to myself before I even watched the show. Like, would I have wanted like this beat by beat? Maybe, yeah. But I was just like you said, big shoes to fill. So I was really just like, don't suck. And then when I realized,
just don't suck, don't screw it up.
And I mean, there were quite a few ways that could have happened, like whether it be bad acting or just bad cinematography, what have you. It could have been very easy. But when I saw episode 2, because I mean, it's not like the first episode was bad. It kept my interest or our interest enough to keep watching. So when episode 2 came and it started with that whole different opening, like dated back, the 20 years in, South Asia, it was like, oh, this is like, I put it like in our stream. I was like, this is like, think of like a multiverse sort of thing, like we're in the same sort of timeline, but like spread off like 2 different paths, 2 different universes. And I was like, okay, I can live with this multiverse, if you will, of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like that it has its own identity.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought episode 1 was fine. I thought it was okay. It was a decent opening. It followed, to your point, it was pretty beat by beat. I knew what to expect having played the game, and it played out basically the way I would have expected. I did appreciate that it sort of gave a glimpse of the world a little bit more than the game, did. And then by the time you got to episode 2 and that flashback to 20 years and giving you a glimpse of, some of the events leading up to it, I thought that was pretty cool, and really enjoyed the aspects of just seeing a little bit more that you didn't get in the game in terms of what was going on in the world. And so I definitely appreciated that. So yeah, I mean, and that's where I did my first stream on this, was after episodes 1 and 2. And then we got to episode 3, and wow, long time. What an episode. I mean, I think that was the longest. It came in at what, an hour and 16 minutes. I think it was, oh no, wait a minute. I was about to say that it was the longest episode of the season, but I guess the first one, when you're lost in the darkness, at an hour 21. But Long Time was also a pretty long episode at an hour 16. And it dealt with the story of Frank and, oh my gosh, drawing a blank.
Bill.
Bill, yes, Bill and Frank. And what y'all think of episode 3? Long time.
Yeah, it's the in this one, I am calling for anyone that has zero interest in The Last of Us. This is can you please at least watch this one? You don't have to watch the whole show if you're not into that kind of stuff, but put your bias aside and just watch Long Time, because it's a beautiful beginning, middle, end. It's almost like if it was just maybe 10 minutes longer, it's almost like feature length, you know?
Absolutely.
To me, 1 hour 16 is kind of right on that borderline, but just give it 10 more minutes. So it's essentially a movie. It's just a little movie. I'm curious because the first episode has a 9.2. The second episode has a 9.1. What rating does Long Time have?
That is a good. Now these screenshots are coming off of IMDb. I'm going to do this here. See, Last of Us.
Because I seriously hope
love IMDb.
I seriously hope it's higher than the first episode.
It should be the highest. Wait a minute. It says 8? Really?
Wow.
I imagine it was review.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Have to put that aside. For me, episode 3 was like 9.5 or 10 for me. It was incredibly well written, and the story, it was just, just the beginning, as you said, the beginning, the middle, and the end. It was just absolutely fantastic. Just the story of sort of Bill, the character, and how he developed over the course of the episode. And you didn't really know what direction his character was going to go. And you just sort of see Frank come into play and what's going to happen, here, and just seeing that whole dynamic. And then seeing some of our main characters interlaced in there throughout over the course of the years, and just an incredible narrative achievement. I was just blown away. And then the song, Long Time, the Linda Ronstadt song, just the way they use that song as part of the narrative for this episode was just, it just blew my mind when I saw that. I thought, wow, well done. I was just through the moon, just just from an artistic standpoint of how well they executed the story. And I think you're right, Eddie, that, if you have any doubts as to whether this is for you, is watch the first 3 episodes. And if you're not in after watching episode 3, then just let it go. If that doesn't grab you, then let it go. But if you get through episode 3, you'll probably want to carry it all the way through. That was so well done.
Yeah, I think you were going to say that. It sounds like it was you said review bombed from people that just they weren't fans of the relationship of Bill and Frank, and unfortunate that's the case. But that's probably why that's so poorly rated. But it should definitely be a 9.5 or higher. It's definitely it is, I think, the best episode of the season.
I agree.
Is episode 3.
I agree 100%. Just based on just the quality of the narrative and how well that was put together.
Yep.
Just incredible. I really, really dug that. So those are, I'm sure we'll have more to say about these episodes. I'm going to bring them down for now, and then we're going to go into a few more of these comments here. What are people saying? How are people feeling? Let us see. Where did I leave off? All right. Jordo just played part 2 for the first time since it came out, and while it's still certainly a masterpiece, it may be another 3 or so years before I revisit it because it is such a bummer. Yeah, so of course we have this first game here, which masterpiece. I love this game, love it. And then I played The Last of Us Part 2 when it came out, I think in 2020 it actually came out during, of course, the pandemic, came out in 2020. I played this game and I personally loved this game almost as much as the first one. I thought it was fantastic. Everyone doesn't share that view because of the direction that the story took. And that's what's going to make, I think, season 2 of this TV series interesting to see, how closely will it follow the events of this game here?
Yep.
And that's something that's going to be very interesting to see how people respond to that. And I don't want to spoil anything, but it went in some directions that some people did not like. I liked it because I appreciated that they subverted expectations, but everybody didn't really appreciate that. So
another reason
in
why
terms of
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say something that I was a little skeptical on, like prior to watching the show, was because I hadn't watched the Star Wars show with Pedro Pascal. I forget, The Mandalorian. I haven't
The
watched
Mandalorian, yeah.
Or I haven't watched like Game of Thrones or anything, so I didn't know who these people were. So it's like,
Or Wonder Woman 84. Did you watch Wonder Woman 84? Have you
Uh,
watched Wonder Woman 84?
no.
Good. Don't.
Yeah, so I was like, who are these people? Like, how are they gonna, like, these are my characters. Like, I am emotionally attached to these characters. They better do them justice. And God, like you were saying about, season 2, like how they're gonna carry on and like do it justice. I think they're gonna personally, I love Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Like, they are the Joel and Ellie I didn't know I needed. And
Yes.
I definitely, like, I don't even know what the game, like the second game's apart, like, or what it's about, but I definitely think it'll be everything we needed and more.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has a fascinating story and it goes in directions that people didn't expect. And from a technical standpoint, this game is a absolute masterpiece from a technical standpoint. I mean, the technology of these video games these days is mind blowing, So I think it'll be interesting to see how closely the season 2 follows that, to see what they do with it and to see how people react to it. And will it be similar to how people reacted to the game? Never played the games, really enjoyed the series. Great. That's awesome.
What's going on, Ben?
Games are terrific, almost a perfect adaptation. Yeah, I would agree, Nadia. I mean, I am so happy because this could have easily been a hot mess, right? If they didn't cast the right people, and we'll get into that, into the characters, because I have some little shots of the characters and we can talk about how we feel about these characters, because I think that's a big part of what kind of made this work. And if they missed on really any of them, it could have kind of done this with this series,
Yeah.
Especially Joel and Ellie. They missed on either of those. It's like, skip. See, Adrian, I haven't seen the show, but I hope to get it on Blu-ray or DVD when it comes out. Yeah, sure. Or you can watch it on the HBO Max. Jordo agrees with Nadia about the adaptation. Pedro calling himself Daddy Pascal. Respect the face. I played part 1, own part 2, but haven't seen the show yet. Okay.
What are you doing here?
Oh man. Well, if you played part 1, then you probably know a lot about the show, I guess. Uncharted 2, the game is legit. Absolutely. The Uncharted games are fantastic. I mean, they are done by the same studio, Naughty Dog, that did the Last of Us game, and just fantastic. It's sort of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, if you would, but with a different character. And he's globe-trotting, finding treasure, going up against bad guys. And it's very cinematic, very well acted. And so fantastic games, especially the fourth one, a masterpiece. I played the Uncharted games. They're great. The movie I skipped. That's where I'm at. I'm right with you, hard copy. And I'm in no hurry to see that movie because I've heard it's not very good. I don't think it will be released on physical. Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about The Last of Us being released on physical. So
it's coming out on.
So I don't know. So it looks good, my friend. Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting Blu-ray 4K, and
Okay.
it's getting a steelbook as well.
Cool. That's good to know. Okay, Nadia, apparently episode 3 is the most watched episode in TV show. Really? Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
Of course.
I'll have to check that out. I do know that the ratings for this series has been very good. I mean, like really good for The Last of Us. So that is good to know. The show does a good job switching up the pace from episode to episode. Episode 3 is a breather from all the infected chaos and does a great job tying in Joel and Ellie at the end of episode 3. Yeah, I think so too. Because it started out with Joel and Ellie at the beginning, and then you get into Bill and Frank. Well, Bill, right? Starts off with Bill. The fungal outbreak starts. You see him in his little world. Then Frank comes along and that whole story develops. And then it ultimately ends with Joel and Ellie. Beautifully done. Long time got review bombed due to the homophobia online. Yep, which is what you're saying, Eddie. Hi everyone. Hello. Episode 3 was so sad with that ending. Yeah.
I cried.
I agree.
I did.
Yeah. It was. I don't have the words to really say how well done that episode was. I mean, it was just, I don't have the words to really articulate just from an artistic standpoint. However you feel about the themes that were covered, just the execution itself was just brilliant. Just a masterpiece of storytelling. Looking back at the entire season, episode 3 may be the most memorable. Total credit to Offerman and Bartlett. Yeah, and we'll show them in a second who played Bill and Frank. Playing Ellie in part 2, and she is bad like Joel. Yeah, I agree. She is. She's probably tougher than Joel in the second game. You have to watch someone play the game, and it's 100 out of 100. Part 2. The 3-second delay is killing me. Oh, I feel like I'm watching the news. Oh no. I am so sorry, guys, about this delay. I don't know if it's an internet connection issue on my end or what, but I apologize. Wish they would have shown more scavenging for food and materials like in the games. I was the biggest weepy baby in episode 3. Here's a question for you. Eddie and Hailey, any plans to finally play part 2 now that you've seen the show and we're happy with the first game?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. So when you were on our stream, Mikey and Phil, the guests we had on, we played part 2 with them about
like maybe 20 minutes worth, 30 minutes
20
worth.
minutes or so. Yeah. The last time we had hung out all together. So we're kind of into part 2, but I have it as well. It's on my physical media shelves. I just didn't grab the games, but we're going to pop it in here one of these days and we're going to power through part 2. So
yeah, whether that's like handing off the controller or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, definitely look forward to hearing what y'all think about it after you play it. For sure. The delay is fixed some. The delay is fixed some HWO.
How?
What is that?
Somehow.
the delay is fixed somehow.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad it is. That's good to know. So yeah, so let's talk. Let's take a moment to talk about some of these peeps, some of the people that make this series work. Because without the people, it ain't gonna happen. Pedro Pascal as Joel, Bella Ramsey as Ellie. So, I mean, do y'all think that that they nailed it? Is there anyone? Can you imagine anyone else playing Joel or playing Ellie in this series?
See, they totally missed the mark. My first casting choice was Denzel. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But he was so good in the Book of Eli. But anyways, no, I mean, first of all, these are phenomenal posters. I love these posters. They're so good. They kind of make me want to like own them. Like I would love to hang these.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Noted.
But
so well done.
But no, I mean, I think when we first found out that Pedro was cast, I think everybody, myself included, looked at him and went, that he doesn't look like Joel. He's not even able to fully grow a beard like Joel.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people clung on to. They clung on to the facial hair for some reason, like myself included. They were like, look at his facial hair. It's not even the same as it is in the games. But having seen the show, I can't imagine anyone else playing the role. So they totally nailed it. And even Troy Baker, the original Joel, he gave him the seal of approval. And I'm pretty sure as well for Bella Ramsey, whoever, what was her name? Ashley
Johnson.
Ashley Johnson.
Ashley Johnson, I'm sure gave Bella her stamp of approval as well. So it's crazy the fact that Bella Ramsey's British too.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, she played in Game of Thrones, and I'm trying to remember what her character was. I think she was probably part of the House of Walder Frey. I don't remember, but I need to look up her character. But yeah, she was good in Game of Thrones, and she's great in this series. But yeah, they both worked so well. I mean, Pedro Pascal did a great job, and Bella, and you mentioned Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. They actually they also appeared in the series in different roles, and cool. At certain surprise moments, and they're like, oh, that's interesting, So I'm glad that they were able to work them in.
Did you see? So do you remember at the Oscars when Jimmy Kimmel was like, and if anybody wants to come up here and slap me, you have to go through a bunch of people, and they pointed out Pedro in the audience. Do you remember that?
The
moment?
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Now me, right? I would have reworked that joke. I just would have been like, instead of the Mandalorian, and I understand why they chose the Mandalorian because that's the bigger show. But I would have been like, and you're gonna have to go through Joel Miller. But no one, I don't think anyone would have picked up on who the hell is Joel Miller.
Exactly.
So,
and that's a question that I'll bring up. Who is Joel Miller? Because to me, that's one of the themes that I sort of picked up from this whole thing is, who is this guy? He's one of the protagonists of this series and of the game, and we get to see him in 2003. There's a time jump in 2023. We know a lot has happened in his life over those 20 years. And there's hints at some of the bad things he's done. And then when you see what he does in episode, 9 and some of the things he does throughout the series, it really just makes you wonder, who is this? Who is this man? Is he good? Is he really a bad guy? Is he somewhere in between? It just sort of makes you kind of wonder, Here we have Nico Parker as Sarah. She played his daughter in episode 1. I didn't make the connection on my first stream. Mika, of course, Mika in the community, she pointed out that Nico Parker is the daughter of Thandie Newton.
I totally see it. I actually totally see it. Now that you say that, I totally see it.
Yeah. And as soon as she mentioned that, I was like, oh, she looks just alike. So she played Sarah in this in this series, and Gabriel Luna played Tommy, Joel's brother. And how do y'all think they worked in terms of thinking about Sarah back in the game and Tommy back in the game? Of course, for those of us who play the game. So thinking about it from that standpoint of having played the game, and then if you didn't play the game, how would you feel about these characters? Do you feel like they worked? Of course, Nico Parker was pretty much just episode 1, of course, but How'd
Yeah.
you feel about them as characters in this series?
I loved Nico Parker, first of all. I also loved the, like, I made a point in our stream as well saying, like, the change in her appearance. I love that they gave her more of a distinct look, like, rather than just like small girl blonde hair, but like, and even her big fro comes into play in a later episode where like Joel feels like he recognizes it in a crowd, like thinking that he saw Sarah. But
Yeah.
not just like how she looks, I think she's adorable, but her acting, like,
Mhm.
because they gave episode 1, a little more flourishing, like just a little hint more of what's going on, and her acting, like when she goes to the neighbor's house, like I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I personally, I love that this show is doing this kind of stuff, like with the Bill and Frank, with Ellie and what the hell's her name?
Riley.
Ellie and Riley, and even the fact here that you have Sarah, who in the video game she is very much. She's just
There.
so like she's so similar to Joel in terms of appearance and everything. I love that the series decided to let's introduce the idea of a blended family. You know what I mean? I love that idea.
Yeah, me too. I really, really like that.
Yeah, because I mean, and then you look at someone like Tommy, Gabriel Luna, and so the whole family's blended. The whole family is all over the place, and that's so real to life. Like that is so many more people can relate to that versus a totally white family, a totally black family. You know what I mean? Like we can pick up on that a whole lot better. And yeah, Thandie Newton. The fact that you say that, I'm looking at her and I'm imagining Thandie Newton in The Pursuit of Happiness, and I'm looking at her and I'm going like, yep, that's totally her daughter. Totally.
100%. Yeah. I mean, as soon as Mika mentioned it, I was like, wow, okay. It's all these connections to things. I was, I did last week, I did a review of the movie, Women Talking, directed by Sarah Polley. And I did not realize that she was the little girl in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And she appeared in another movie called Exotica from Criterion. And I was like, oh, okay. These are other films I've been looking at, and I didn't even make the connection that she was in those movies. So
yeah,
all these connecting points.
All those.
So that's Nico Parker as Sarah and Gabriel Luna as Tommy, the brother. And then Anna Torv as Tess and Merle Dandridge as Marlene. I love these characters. I love these characters in both the game and in this series. Just really, really nice characters. And I really like the casting that they did for them as well.
Yeah, I will say, going back to, because I don't feel like we talked too much about Gabriel Luna quickly. My only frame of reference with him is Terminator Dark Fate, where he plays the Rev 9. So I've only ever really thought of him as like a villain antagonist type guy, because he also is Ghost Rider in the MCU. And I really enjoyed his cameo in this episode, because then he kind of disappears for a majority of the season, and then when he's reintroduced, he's it's such a powerful moment. I love any time there's like a family reunion in an apocalyptic show. Like there's a beautiful family reunion in The Walking Dead season 1. So I love anytime you get like a brother looking for a brother kind of thing, or a sister looking for a sister.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's so good. Yeah, I love and he actually, because I think in the game when Sarah dies in the game, I don't necessarily, because I don't remember if it's Tommy that recognizes it or if it's Joel that recognizes that she's wounded. But in the show, I love that Tommy is almost the one that leads the discovery of Sarah being injured, and then Joel saying, "Come on, Tommy, we got to do something," and Tommy's just like, "There's nothing we can do, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do for Sarah."
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. You know, so well done. But yeah,
but the other characters,
two wonderful actors.
Yeah, To the other characters,
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed.
And Anna Torv and Merle Dandridge. You know, Merle Dandridge here, who played Marlene, part of the Fireflies, one of the factions in the game. She actually was the voice actress for Marlene in the video game, and she came back and played in the live action, TV adaptation, which is pretty cool.
And I wonder why just her? Like, I wonder why only Marlene is the same as the video game. I wonder where that, like, what happened there? Like, why more cast members aren't the original characters, kind of thing. Like, I understand why Troy Baker is not Joel. I understand why Ashley is not. Like, I understand why they're not. But even like some of the other characters, like the guy who played Tommy, where's he? Like, I don't even know who the guy who played Tommy is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is an interesting question.
Tess had a wonderful character arc, and she fulfilled that in the second episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's taken away from us in episode 2, and you were visibly like disturbed by that.
Wait, was that episode 2 or was that episode 4? No, that was 2.
Yeah, it's 2 because then
I
in
think it was episode 2.
Because then in episode 3, she's
right.
like alive in a cameo because it's a flashback kind of thing.
Yeah, and that was so cool to see her in that flashback and see Joel and interacting with Bill and Frank in that way, and just how they worked that into the story, and just fantastic.
Yeah, because I mean, if we didn't have Tess, then we wouldn't have had the rest of the series, because she was really who was insistent on getting Ellie where she has to go.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's a big catalyst to that whole thing, Very important character.
And I had actually sorry, there's that delay again. I would have
I'm sorry.
I would have I totally forgot who Marlene was when she reappeared towards the end of the season.
I did too. It took me a second.
I was like, who? I'm supposed to remember this person, but I don't really remember this person. Am I the only one? Like, I know you said, but like, James, did you also feel that, or did you remember who Marlene was instantly?
I did. Yeah, from the game. Yeah.
Well, it took me a second, like from the later, like the last episode when she comes back in the beginning, like it clicked with me. I was like, oh, that's why she was so, Ellie has to go. Like, it was a big moment.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just love the strength of these two characters. I mean, just both in the game and the way they were presented here, just very, very powerful. Of course, would have been nice if they survived, I guess. But I guess the whole narrative that wasn't meant to be in terms of their ultimate arc, but they had a purpose.
Yeah. So far, we've looked at 6 characters. 3 of them they're dead.
Yeah. Well, here's 2 more.
2 more. There we go.
Yeah, episode 3, featured, started out with Joel and Ellie, but the meat of episode 3, you talk about that hour 16 minutes, probably about an hour 10 of it is centered around these 2 gentlemen right here, Nick Offerman playing Bill and Murray Bartlett playing Frank. That sequence opens up with Bill, right around the time that the events are happening. He's a survivalist, and so he's kind of one of those people who's a survivalist, who's kind of planning for the end of the world or the apocalypse. And the apocalypse happens, and he's got his fortress set up, and he's gonna be the last man standing. And one day Murray Bartlett's Frank comes into the picture. As a viewer, you don't really know what is going to happen, what the motivation of each of these characters are. There's a really cool joke in there when they first meet that I really liked. What was it? Like some restaurant and
something
it's not
about
for free
Arby's.
or whatever.
About Arby's.
Arby's. And I was like, good joke, and that was just an example of how. And that's another thing I really like about this series is sort of the interjection of humor at certain points, whether it's the puns that
Yeah.
that Ellie and Joel shared together, and um, just sort of takes this very serious subject of this world that's gone the pot, and you could literally die at any moment from some crazy creature. And in the midst of that craziness and humanity basically about to go extinct, um, there's a little bit of humor in there, And there's this incredible story here of Bill and Frank in episode 3.
Yeah. What I loved about, the character of Bill was, he's seen as like this almost extreme survivalist, like with his cameras and his arsenal. And there are very much people like that today. Like as we speak, there are probably a couple hundred people who do have like a bunker and are prepping for this. I mean, you see it like on social media. So it's like right now we'll see them like on Instagram, the TikTok or whatever, and we go, that's insane. Like you're insane. And then you see, Nick Offerman is Bill and the apocalypse happens and it's like, well, who it's funny because it's like, I guess he was right all along.
Yeah, the funny thing is I don't think those people are nuts. Like I actually applaud those people like that they because something like not like this, like there's never going to be infected walker zombie people going around, but like
never say never.
there's a very and just look at what happened in 2020 to but take that to an even more serious degree. There's and then of course with nuclear stuff, nuclear warfare, like I mean people that have bunkers, like they're smart. They are really smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically just made us eat our words.
I don't know. But look, I vividly remember this episode, and I can't say that about every episode in this season. So I feel like that's why it's the strongest episode. Like I can tell you almost beat for beat what happens in this episode. And
yes, same here.
It's that, but that's why it's the best episode. And I can watch anything with someone living in the apocalypse on their own. I find that so fascinating. Someone like by themselves, a one person, like something like I Am Legend. God, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, this was an awesome episode. And I'm with you, man. I mean, this is the one that I remember the most about. And to your point, that's what makes it, to me, it's clearly the best episode.
Oh, look at these awesome characters, also dead.
Yeah, 2 more. Who's surviving in this series? Lamar Johnson is Henry, and Kayvon Woodard is Sam. So that's part of the beautiful thing along this journey with Joel taking Ellie across country. They're encountering people. There's these stories of Bill and Frank, the stories of Henry and Sam, along the way, and seeing these souls just trying to survive in this insurvivable world, and their challenges and just sort of the nuances of their characters, and just realizing that it's not so much here are the good people, here are the bad people, and it's black and white, and that's it. There's really a lot of shades of gray, there that people are operating in. There's really no really good people. There's not people who are entirely evil. It's just sort of a spectrum of gray. And it's really interesting seeing these 2 young men here, brothers, and seeing how their story unfolds, and the relationship that they were able to strike with Joel, but mostly Ellie, really connecting with Sam, and that was very tender. And then, of course, seeing where that goes to a very sad place, is sort of a wow. Just makes you go.
Oh, sorry.
It just makes you go,
I was gonna say, I just right before the stream, I was on Twitter because a lot of people are still talking about it, as they should be, the show. And they posted a really cute picture of Kayvon. Is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. With the giraffe from the last episode, and he was feeding the giraffe. It was so cute. And it's just like, that's so funny to think that those episodes, like, I don't know when they were filmed, but they were definitely far apart from when they aired. To think, like, even he got to see the giraffe.
Yeah.
It was just really cute.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so those are a couple more. I think we might have a couple more to show. But before we do that, I will take a few more of these comments here, and then we'll get into these other episodes here. Where did I leave off? Let me jump in here. I am so sorry about the 3-second delay, folks. The technical issues with tonight, so I do apologize for that. Not sure what's driving it, but I was the biggest weepy baby in episode 3. Yeah, I think a lot of us were. Eddie, okay, we've already asked that question. The delay is fixed. Okay, so we've actually gone through all the comments there. So let's jump back here and see what other characters. Of course, we have here Storm Reed played Riley. She played a very important character. This was the episode, I forget which episode it is. It may have been, well,
7.
See another slide that shows episode 7, where they basically do that with that downloadable content piece of the first game that is called Left Behind. So Left Behind. So they do that in an episode 7, sort of similar to the break with episode 3. They do this with episode 7, and I thought it was pretty well done. You know, you had Storm Reed playing Riley, and you know, the connection that she has with Bella Ramsey's Ellie. How did y'all feel about the execution of that story and kind of what they did there?
I know, I loved it. I also loved the other characters. I know we didn't talk too much about the other characters, but like I love that they're all getting their kind of individual posters here.
No matter how small the role.
I haven't seen all of these posters, yeah. But yeah, obviously I feel like a lot of people are also going to glom onto, like, if episode 3 isn't your favorite episode, I could see Left Behind being a favorite episode. I did say during our stream, I think at that point you had exited, but
yeah.
I said that that episode, Left Behind, it's the most fun episode of the season, just because it deals with, you know,
being in a mall.
One of my favorite things, and typically it's all in movies, but anytime a mall is featured heavily in a film, I absolutely love it.
Okay.
So I'm a sucker for mall movies.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, we're going to explore a mall. Like, I'm so in for this. And
cool.
I love that it's still like a safe haven kind of thing for them. Like for her, Riley found this mall, and Ellie's, you know, kind of hesitant on it. And it's so good.
I think it's a beautiful episode. In terms of like aesthetics, like I know we have a lot of like, you know, the beautiful Canadian woods and what have you, but like just the cinematography in this episode alone is.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know we're not talking about episodes, but like I can't stop looking at her poster. I love her poster, Storm Reed's poster.
Yeah, with that carousel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fun episode, and just really, really well done. And I agree, the cinematography of this series, and just from a technical standpoint, as you're saying, I mean, this series was so well done. I mean, in terms of just from a technical standpoint, really making you feel like you're in this world, like seeing Joel and Ellie walking, you know, outside and seeing these shots of in the distance, seeing the skyline of the city, of these cities, and the dilapidated buildings and the overgrowth and everything. It just looked really, really good. I mean, I know it's completely fake. It's some CGI green screen, but you don't. It was very well done. It just looked so good to me, at least. I thought it was really well done technically, and just some of the practical stuff. It just made you feel like you were in a real place, so to speak. So
Yeah,
I
I
thought that
love.
was very well done.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I love Bella Ramsey and Storm Reed's. Like, it feels like they have such good chemistry. Like, if you told me they were good friends off camera, I'd believe you 110%. I just love the way that they interact.
Yep.
And yeah. There has yet to be a bad casting
fantastic
choice.
chemistry. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can't, I'm trying to think, was there any character in this that you would look at and say, and I can't think of one. I think they just nailed every single character. They did they really just did a great job with each character. I thought. Let's see. Broovies with Matt. So many great moments in the series. I actually like the changes they made to the series from the game, and it was interesting in the after episode interviews when they explained the reasoning. Now, I have not watched any of the after episode features. Have y'all seen any of those after episode stuff?
No, we typically, when the episode ended, we kind of shut we watched everything on my laptop, so we just kind of put the screen down. But I did discover there's a beautiful, and I think it would collect all of them. There's a beautiful on HBO. It's a making of The Last of Us season 1 documentary. So.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I watch them all on my phone. I just, with every episode, just download the episode and just watch it.
Yep.
But yeah, I never watched any of the other stuff, and I'm debating whether or not I want to, because I know that, like, I was a big Game of Thrones fan, and whenever I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff and how they did some of the, how they like created the world, it almost broke the illusion for me. I was like, oh, okay, now I see how they did it. And now I'm kind of like, I just want to stay in that world and just believe these castles exist and these dragons are flying around and not see the green screen and see that, oh, okay. I know it's not real, but now that I've seen it, it's like, oh, it kind of breaks it for me. So
you don't want to see the behind the scenes of how the Starbucks cup landed there?
Right. No, that Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones is real. That's a real, House of Lannister, Starbucks cup.
Limited
delivered
edition.
Delivered by Eddie, Oh, but yeah. So yeah, these are just some of the characters. I mean, I was just blown away by just the quality of the acting and just the casting choices. And with the writing, the thing I really appreciated was the nuance of the characters it took you a while to kind of figure out, like, what is this character's angle? What are they after? What are they trying to do? Like that, I think it was episode 8, which is, I will go back here to episode 8. I'm probably skipping ahead here, and I apologize. Oh, episode 8, When We Are in Need. This character right here, this gentleman here, who is in that episode, I don't know his name, but it took me a while to figure out, okay, what is this guy's angle? And when you find out what his angle is, it's like, ooh, it's like, man, what a creep, but you don't necessarily know that at the beginning, and so I definitely appreciated how, there was a little bit of misdirection. You think, okay, maybe this is a good person, or maybe this person is a bad person, or you don't exactly know. It's not obvious, who these people are. And it takes you a little time to kind of figure it out and kind of get there. So I do appreciate some of that nuance in the way that these characters are, were written. So.
Mm-hmm. Is that Left Behind screenshot from the video game? That looks like it's from the.
Yeah, so this is episode 7, Left Behind. This is a screenshot from IMDb. And then this here is the actual shot from the video game. So this is says Riley appeared in video game expansion pack The Last of Us Left Behind to flesh out Ellie's story. So this is the actual shot from the game itself.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this is, of course, the real life person here who played the character.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah. So Left Behind, you know. So you had episode 7, When We Are in Need and Look for the Light. But then we'll back up here and look at episodes 4 through 6. Anything jump out at you as far as these episodes? Of course, a lot happened. I'm in here. I'm kind of like you, Eddie, in that some of these kind of run together a little bit. Episode 3 is that just absolute standout that is its own distinct entity that I can really point to and just know what happened.
Yep.
Everything that happened. These other ones I have an idea of some of the stuff that happened in each of these, but not as much detail as episode 3. But any sort of impressions that jump out at you as far as these episodes?
Well, 5 is definitely one, and I understand why that's rated 9.5. That's like that's the episode where we get that insane herd of clickers, the most clickers that we got in season 1.
And the blowdown.
Yeah. So that's why that's there. And then, of course, you get that incredible ending with Ellie trying to save Sam's life. It's wild stuff. I love that moment, and I don't think we talked about it on our stream, but when Sam comes out attacking Ellie, and I forget the brother's name, but he's
Henry.
like Henry. Yeah, when Henry stops Joel from shooting Sam, he's like, he has him at gunpoint. And Joel's like, please. And then he makes the decision to kill his own brother. And then he realizes what he did and takes his own life. Gosh, it was just.
That was heavy. That was heavy, man. It was like.
And then they even, like in episode 6, it starts with the exact same thing. They're like, oh, you thought you were traumatized at the end of episode 5. We're going to re-traumatize you at the beginning of episode 6. We're going to show you the exact same thing, him taking his life again.
Yeah.
But then episode 6 gives you that incredible reunion, and then you get to kind of explore the I forget the name of the town. What's it called? Jackson. You get to explore Jackson, and again, the show showing blended families. Tommy is with
this is his wife here.
That's his wife right there.
Forgot her name, but yeah.
Yeah, what's her name?
Oh no.
And it's funny. It's funny. It's funny because I immediately thought this, and then online people were also thinking it. And then it's funny because I was thinking right out of the get-go, I was like, wow, she looks a lot like Michonne from The Walking Dead. And everyone online was like, yeah, she looks a lot like Michonne from The Walking Dead. And then it's funny, she's actually the actress, she is in The Walking Dead in like season 10 or 11.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All these connections, Yep. But yeah, I really liked that episode 6. It showed, of course, that wonderful, reunion. But there's that tension there as well between, Tommy and Joel and of course, a choice and a decision that Ellie ends up, ends up making. And I love how that choice in terms of whether to go with Tommy or, Joel, I love how that kind of evolved. So,
I love what you said. I love what you said about how nobody is really like at one total end of the spectrum in terms of good or bad. Like, just about every character is very like ambiguously gray. I love the way you said that because that's so true. Like, especially talking about Tommy in episode 6, or even like the Kathleen, I think her name was, the villain of like episode 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Like, and I really feel like that sort of the complexity in characters really what makes the show shine, because you can truly have like, and it's been done time and time again, like people being so either obviously good, this is good, or so like this is bad. This like sort of spectrum, like you said, is what makes it so unique. And I really
Oh
think
yeah, I mean, it sort of keeps you engaged. And her name, by the way, Tommy's wife is Maria, played by Rutina Wesley. So had to look it up on IMDb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. Hailey. I mean, it's that ambiguousness that you're sort of trying to figure out. Okay, what is the angle of this person that really keeps you engaged versus this cookie cutter, straight up black and white? He's the good person and they're the bad people, and that's it. That's kind of boring a little bit. So
yeah, because like you have
this makes it more
Tommy.
interesting.
Yeah, you have Tommy in episode 6, like when they finally reunite, and Joel thought he was dead. He could have very obviously contacted him this whole time. And initially you're like, yeah, like what the heck, Tommy? Like your brother is here traveling like thousands of miles to come see you, thinking that you're dead. Like, come on, that's like really like effed up to do. And then you're like, well, and considering Maria is pregnant
Yeah.
and like the safety of the community, and you're like, well, he has a point, but like then you have Joel. So it's like there's nobody, it makes you think like, who do I even side with? It feels like you know, like a drama, like you know.
Yep. Think we had that delay again. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, it's beautifully gray. And then we have the last 3 episodes of the season, this wonderful season with Left Behind, episode 8, When We Are in Need, and episode 9, Look for the Light. Of course, Left Behind is that very interesting sort of standalone deal with the DLC, the relationship between Riley and Ellie. Very well done. Which sort of helps answer some questions about some of what happened to Ellie before we encounter her for the first time in, I think is it episode 1 when we see Ellie for the first time, or episode 2? I don't remember, but and then
2.
we have episode 8. Yeah, episode 2, and then we have episode 8, When We Are in Need, where we see this very interesting gathering of people, this camp of people, and learning what they're about and learning their motivations. There's a religious element that's in there, and sort of, we have this man here who's the leader of that. What is he all about? Is he a good person, or is he evil, or is he somewhere in between? Who is this man? And then Look for the Light. Episode 9. If you played the game, you know how the first game ended. How closely will episode 9 follow that? And will it get to that very epic moment that happens in the game? Will it do it the same way in this series? And so we see that in episode 9. What are y'all's thoughts about kind of how they wrapped up the season? So they had the first 3 episodes, sort of that setup, had that epic episode 3 that was just mind-blowing. Then you get that middle part where we see Henry and Sam and some other things going on. And now we get to these last 3 episodes here. What are y'all's thoughts on these last 3 episodes here of the season?
I love how the first episode is called When You're Lost in the Darkness, and episode 9 is called Look for the Light. I think that's intentional right there.
Yeah.
Episode 8 is definitely the one. So my like memory of playing the video game, the first game, is I kind of remember things from the video game. The thing that has always stuck with me from that first one is you're in a building. It is literally on fire. You're crouching behind a bunch of things, and there's a guy looking for you that's going, Ellie. That's the one that's the image from that first video game that's always been burned into my mind, no pun intended. And so when we got to episode 8, and this guy came up, and then we got to the part where the thing catches on fire. I was like, oh, okay, I know who this guy is now. Now I know who this guy is. So I was really thrilled that they totally kind of copied and pasted that scene right there. Like that was just like that whole episode 8 is just another standout episode. I mean, 9.4.
Well done. Done.
The thing about this season, look, I mean, even on our thumbnail for our stream, we wrote spoiler alert. We loved it. It's just like, we love this season. We love it so much. There's really not a negative thing we can say about it. You can nitpick here and there. I know I said in episode 3 that Bill and Frank's relationship kind of happens really quickly. To me, that's a nitpick from me. But other than that, the whole season is so incredibly strong. I actually applaud them. Their shortest episode is the finale. Like, you don't really get that a whole lot with television. Typically finales are the 1 hour 20 kind of thing. The Last of Us didn't do that. The Last of Us said, no, we're going to give you a 43-minute finale.
Goodbye.
And we're going to get in, we're going to get out. And I mean, the finale is the one where, back to your question, James, we're like, who is Joel? Like, we've been rooting for him this whole time. And then in episode 9, everybody in the audience is going, Joel, what are you doing, man? Joel, stop it. Stop, Joel. And that's what every good apocalyptic story does. The Walking Dead does it so beautifully, constantly portraying the characters as right there in that middle ground. Are they good? Are they bad? Rick Grimes constantly going through that. Like, why is Rick doing what he's doing? Episode 9, we're wondering that as well. Why are you doing what you're doing, Joel? Like, we know you're emotionally attached now to Ellie, but why are you doing everything that you're doing? Why are you going back and putting a bullet in Marlene's head? And I understand that he says, because you're going to come looking for her. It's just, he's so brutal. Like, that's his John Wick moment in episode 9.
Absolutely.
And Mikey in our previous stream, he had a little bit of a nitpick in episode 9 where he was like, he just finds it a little hard to believe that Joel is just instantly going to be able to take out the entire place that they're at, like the hospital. Because he just kind of goes through but then we talked it through and we were like, well, adrenaline will do some crazy things for you. So
that episode was definitely adrenaline filled.
And Joel is adrenaline fueled. He has to get to Ellie, and he knows that it's like there is like a time limit on this. So
I mean, in Joel's decision is it's when I first played the game and I started reading people's thoughts on it and thinking about it myself. When I think about his decision and what he did in episode 9 and the decision that he made in terms of it really makes you wonder. It's like it's so much a process, because we see him at the beginning of the series losing a daughter. He lost his daughter. And then we see this arc of his development of relationship with Ellie, at first resisting the idea of even thinking about her in any way as a daughter, but then very much seeing her not as Sarah, but very different than Sarah, but, loving her as a daughter and not wanting to lose her too, and willing to do whatever it took not to lose her, whatever it took. And the implications of his decisions is pretty heavy in terms of, the possibilities that could potentially be by a potential sacrifice. But he's not down with that. He doesn't want to lose her. And so is he a good person? Is he selfish? Is he really wickedly evil for what he's doing? It just is so much to process in terms of who is this man and what all did he do in those 20 years? And you're just left to wonder. It's like, Joel Miller, it's a very complicated man. Indeed,
Yeah, and the season doesn't end on a traditional giant cliffhanger or anything like a big question raised. It ends very subtly, and
Okay.
I appreciate that. Looking back, like going into it, I was like, I want a big cliffhanger. But now it's like actually happy that they just ended it on. They got back to Jackson, right? And Ellie's like, hold on, before we go any further, let me tell you something about my past. And then Joel, are you being like forward with me? Like, are we on the same page? He lies to her and she says, okay. And like,
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued
She
to
asked
see
that question. Yeah.
I'm so intrigued to see where they go with that in season 2. Just
Yeah.
I'm so
And
excited.
when you and where they go with it in terms of part 2, it really, I thought, was so brilliant in terms of, you see the things that Joel's doing, you see that there's implications to that there's lives that are affected that you don't see in this series, in this first game, that you do see in the second one. And it just makes you think, oh, okay. So and that's part of what's really intriguing about part 2 is you get to see other perspectives, and beyond Joel and Ellie's perspective, that kind of makes you think. It's like, oh, okay, I'm following Joel and Ellie, and they're sort of my heroes, my protagonists, but there's other perspectives too. There's other lives being affected by their actions, and there's implications to that. And I think that's part of the brilliance of part 2. Everybody doesn't appreciate it, but I loved it. I thought it was like, wow, Neil Druckmann and team, brilliant.
Yep. Of course, we can't forget to mention
so-
that in episode 8 we get Troy Baker in that role.
Yes.
I think he's named James, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And,
I think so.
Of course, he is killed in that episode. Very fitting.
Yep.
And then episode 9, we get Ashley, right? Her name's Ashley
Johnson.
Ashley Johnson, yes.
And then we get her literally giving birth to Ellie. So that's
birth
probably,
to herself, right?
Yeah, like that's got to be trippy in like in an actor's head. Like, I played this character and now I'm playing the mother of the character.
Yeah.
And then of course she is killed as well. So it's sort of like Neil Druckmann's way of being like, all right, I'm not going to forget about you guys. You're going to get roles. And then of course, I can't imagine that we're going to see Troy Baker or Ashley in season 2. I can't imagine we're going to see them.
I doubt that we will. Yeah. I mean, maybe unless there's some kind of flashbacks or something like that, but probably not. But I agree with you. I think it's beautiful that they found a way to incorporate them, because they're a big part of the success of the game. I mean, their voice acting is a big part of what made that game come to life.
Yep. Yeah.
But
it's an incredibly strong first season, and when it comes out on physical media, I will definitely be picking it up.
Yeah, so let me share a little bit. Let me do a screen share here with season 1. I mean, I think we all, of course, loved it, and I definitely was just through the roof on it. Are y'all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yep, The Last of Us season 2, everything we know.
Yes, while you probably hear Shiloh, my dog, barking in the background. Do y'all hear that barking, by the way?
What'd you say?
Do y'all hear that barking, by the way?
Oh, yeah. But we don't make mention of it because it's just like, we understand.
We know how loud cheese can be over here.
Yeah, we know how loud our bearded dragon can get.
Cheese. But yeah, The Last of Us season 2, everything we know, so it's confirmed season 2 is happening, but it's HBO's hit drama based on the video games coming back. Here's what we know. So of course, it was a ratings juggernaut, and it's coming back for a second season. The big question is, when is it going to come back? So of course, when is it coming? The biggest question is the one we don't have the answer to. Pedro Pascal, who plays Joel, has said filming is expected to begin this year. So that makes a 2024 possible, but I think what I've heard is that it's probably more like 2025 when we will see season 2 of The Last of Us. But there's been no official word yet on the timing, so it's likely to be 2025. Another big thing is Ellie.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to say it went away now. Now it says Comcast Business, but there was an ad right there for The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5. So
yeah, it got like a remaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It went away. Now
That's
it's
awesome.
Comcast Business, but
all these ads, I tell you what. Ugh. But anyway, but the other thing is Ellie won't be recast. So that is good to know. Actress Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie, will come back to play the character in season 2.
I'm sure Bella
So I
Ramsey
guess there was
is through the roof on that news.
What's that?
I said I'm sure Bella Ramsey is through the roof with that news.
Oh, yeah. So she will not be recast, according to showrunner Craig Mazin and writer Neil Druckmann. There is a 5-year time jump from season 1 to season 2, and from the first game to the second game. But this actually brings Ramsey more in line with Ellie. Ramsey is now 19 years old in real life, the same age as Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2. The other big thing about season 2 is there are new characters, including this young lady right here that you will get to see in season 2, who's a very important character. And what they do with that character and the complexity of the, it's one of those things where, again, it comes down to, is this a good person or a bad person? And how, depending on your perspective, you can see things entirely differently, based upon looking at it from one character's perspective and then flipping it and seeing it from another character's perspective. You can get a whole different feeling about how you feel about, one particular character. So she will be a very important part of season 2, just as she is in the game. And I really look forward to hearing what people think about season 2 and what y'all think about the part 2 when you get a chance to play the game. So
yeah, we just got a lot of spare time on our hands. So I feel like playing the game is in our near future.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, certainly hope you enjoy the game. Spare time. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy playing the game, and let us know what you think and everything, as you're navigating the world. But hopefully not too much spare time.
Oh, right.
Oh, here, nerdy film girl. Let's see. Hello, Tracy. Hello, everyone. I still have 2 episodes left, but I want to cheer you guys up on. I'll rewatch this full chat once I've caught up, which will be super soon. Okay. Awesome, Tracy.
Good to hear.
That is awesome. Well, that is the last comment there. But yeah, any final thoughts about The Last of Us? Again, I really appreciate y'all joining tonight, Eddie and Hailey. I want to deeply apologize for the technical with whatever's causing this delay. I'm really sorry about that. But any last thoughts before we sign off and tell everybody good night?
My last thought is this is like I always say this: if there's any technical difficulties in today's day and age, I always go, it's amazing. In the 60s, we sent men to the moon, but in 2023, we can't figure out how to have a solid connection over streaming. Like, it's just like, it doesn't add up in my mind. Like in the 60s, we put people on the moon, but in 2023, we have a 3-second delay. Like, it doesn't add up. But anyways, no, we loved having this full discussion, because on our stream you had to kind of dip 30 minutes in. So we were kind of curious what else you thought. So that's one reason why we were excited to come on tonight. But Yeah, I mean, after tonight, we're done talking The Last of Us until The Last of Us
2025?
season 2. Yeah, so
2025?
yeah,
Yes,
we're putting the
2025.
we're putting the nail in the coffin on our Last of Us discussions. So we're
Yeah.
excited that it was with you, James. We love this.
Well, I appreciate y'all joining, and I really enjoyed this season as well. And I'm kind of with you in that I am perfectly fine with it being 2025. I'm really not in a hurry for it to come back. I just want to savor this and enjoy this. It was awesome. And I kind of wanted to, I just want to appreciate it now. And I kind of want to sort of go away, go away for a while, take the time they need to do it right and to not rush it, but to do it right and to do the story justice. So I'm fine to wait a couple of years for the next one because I know that Druckmann and team will, as they always do, kill it. So I'm looking forward to it. But I really do appreciate y'all joining this stream tonight. Again, if you're watching this on replay or if you're watching it right now, check out Fans of Something. The links are in the description to their YouTube channel as well as Instagram, as well as their live stream review of The Last of Us season 1 that we did on, I think it was Tuesday night. So definitely go check out those links in the description of this video. Thanks again for joining tonight. And as always, we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.